welcome to FatherofTwo plays Sunless Sea. Last time we sailed north to... I forget the name of the place. But we brought a passenger there, and he wanted us to find somebody for him, and return them to him. So, as we sail the sea, we'll look for them, and see if we can't help that guy out. We have some things going on along the sidebar here. So, let's see about this little gift.
Very fine evening to you, Captain. My, what you might call mentor, is very fond of adventurous Z captains, and he would like to offer you what you might call a dispensation, on account of he is so fond of Z captains.
Behind the blind bruiser on the dock stands a dray piled high with fuel and supplies. Accept the dispensation. Do make sure you have 15 points of space in the hold or come back later. It would be embarrassing to have to leave it on the dock. Inquire further. Who is this patron? Is there a catch? Well, we should definitely know who it is, I think. Refuse. Too good to be true. Well, we might as well find out who it is. I mean, judging by this character, it's probably not somebody savory. An airy wave.
He runs a very fine and liberal establishment just across the river, what is much patronized by sailors and by men of wit and vinegar, and public house, and there's no obligation to speak of. My patron would hope only that you might remember him kindly, and I suppose, if the opportunity should arise for you to return this kindness, then I do not imagine he would refuse your offer.
Sorry for the bad accents, but I prefer to read that way anyway. Well, that does sound too good to be true. Let's refuse. We're not gonna... No. He's just not the kind of man I would deal with. You think he's holding that knife? He's probably holding the knife while he's talking to us. A sorrowful farewell.
I'll not deny that I'm a little saddened, and I think that my patron will also share my sadness. But I understand that you know your business, and that a Z captain is a free spirit. I will explain carefully to my patron that you mean no insult by refusing of his kind gift. Zale safe.
Actually, he said zafe, but, that's hard to work in there just off the cuff. The dray creaks off into the dockside crowd. You refuse the proposal. Probably best. I think we spoke to the alarming scholar already. So, let's see what's at our lodgings. We might as well have a rest. Costs us 10 echoes. We have 150. I think we can afford it. The rats keep you awake of nights, and they're muttering and skirmishing, but the bed is warm, and the door has a lock. So we have a restful night. We could use that to go out on the town. Back to the rest of the city, then. Or we could click over here, I guess. Okay. Carouse on Wolfstack docks. This would reduce your terror. You might run into trouble or romance. We don't have a free evening, so... Well, we definitely could hire on more crew. What's that cost us? 30. And it's a low-risk challenge. Your heart's quality gives you 81% chance. Well, that could be worth it. No new recruit. Well, let's do it. Your tall tales find a ready audience. Scarred and seasoned men and women tramp aboard and find places to sling hammocks. You've gained 2 crew. It's almost a full complement now. You've lost 30 echoes, and we succeeded. Okay. Well... What do we got? We only have 6 fuel, so that's not making me feel especially good. We could go... I think we have to go to the Admiralty. Is that how we get there? We've already submitted our port reports. How do we get to... It's not the dry dock. We want to visit the lady and trade in our Admiralty credits for fuel. Oh, it's here and we're out. Need Admiralty favor 4. You have 3. Alright, well, then I guess we have to go to the shipyard, or the shop, sorry, and go to Mrs. Plenty's shipside provisioners. We'll need fuel. And we'll need fuel aplenty, so let's load up. We're gonna fill right up. We're gonna spend all our money on fuel. We have lots of food. And we're ready to sail on the Z. Full speed ahead. I love the atmosphere. You see little bats flying out. This is all quite incredible as a game. The exploration is really fun and different. The way you embark and manage your supplies on the way. And you can use any number of methods to goodness, just distracted by the artwork. You can use any number of methods to help yourself along the way. Like, we could eat this monster here, the giant crab. And if we take no damage, it's just free food for us. Oh, he was diving under there. Okay. The Megalops defeated. With a forlorn and wailing cry, the Megalops turns on his back, legs nearly folded as bluish blood gouts from its wounds. Its golden glow begins to dim. Butcher it for supplies or dissect it for knowledge. Well, we have lots of supplies, I think. So let's do a low-risk pages challenge. You set to work with your knives and acids. It is an indistinguished adolescent specimen, a megalops of one of the deep Z crab species, but its eyes, normally vestigial in this troglodytic beast, are large and rather beautiful. The glowing is almost gone now, although sparks leap now and then to your knife. I guess it glows bioluminescent and creates electricity. Interesting. So we've gained fragments of knowledge, and we succeeded in a challenge which just gives you satisfaction. And Mutton Island is coming up here. We might as well compile a port report. I mean, there's no reason not to. Everywhere you go, stop in. See what's happening. Things change at Z. Sometimes a port you've already been to has different things the next time you return. It's quite interesting. It keeps the sailing fun. And there's overarching quests as well that we'll get into, I'm sure, if I don't get us killed first. Quaker's Haven. Fires on the hillside. Once, this simple fishing village was part of London's suburbs. Before London fell and the waters rushed in, smoke spirals from cottage chimneys. A lonely hill rises behind town. Drinks at the Cock and Magpie. Well, we can't do that. So, let's move on. Pick up a wretched mog. A yellow-eyed, mangy, piebald thing winds around your ankles like a manacle chain. You've never seen a cat's mouth open that wide. Presumably, it's hungry. It's a mascot, eh? No more than 0 wretched mogs. 3 supplies. Well, I don't think we can spare the supplies this time. Sorry, Mog. Explore the shore. Wander a little way along the shore. Well, that sounds interesting, but after our last time on the beach, I think I'll compile a port report first. Chat to the fishermen. Oh, well, we need an echo to even do that. Let us see. Can we sell anything at the... Oh, well... We could sell 1 supplies. Then we would be able to compile our port report, so we might as well. Little ships and little secrets. Pirates plying the waves, smugglers at their work, connate ships putting in to resupply. Nothing dramatic, but enough to interest the Admiralty. So, we've got our port report. And visit the hilltop above town. There's not much... Pardon me. There's not much wind on the Unterzee, but Mutton Island offers eerie gusts and buffets from an inexplicable local fragment of weather, and the air on the hilltop sometimes carries interesting scents. Well, let's check it out. Toasting the wind. You stand on a cliff top, looking over the little village. Smoke from the chimney of the Cock and Magpie drifts straight upwards. As you watch, the smoke tilts. The sudden wind thins it to a pencil smudge, then nothing. The wind screams unexpectedly, like a god cut in half. What a noise! It must be the caves around the island channeling the air. At least, that's the most comforting explanation. Below you, the locals each take nips from a shared flask and make toast towards the mainland. The wind is southerly. So we've gained 11 fragments. And that's all on this island for now. At least we can't come back here. We've gained some terror. And we succeeded. Well, we shall sail from Mutton Island back to Z. And we'll go full steam ahead.
Aye, aye, Captain.
The crew seems pretty happy. If we stick to the light, we shouldn't be too terrified of the terrors of the Z. But there are things far beyond the things we've run into. Things that they're far too terrifying to stick around. You'd have to be quite confident in your abilities to think you could tangle with them, not knowing their strength or their weakness. And we have another port coming up here. This one, I think, is almost always in this position. Yes, the Albertine Gates. A passageway to the surface. And on the surface you can sail, and it's much more dangerous. Or at least, it consumes more resources, it seems. But there is things you can trade down here, outlawed things like poetry and sunlight. We'll make port at Gianotti Harbor. I think that's what it said. Cumean Canal staging area. Here, the dark waters run down from the surface, from a brighter sea. Oh, that's quite incredible. The canal ascends through the locks and gates, and the shadow turns to the sunlight of the surface. Excuse me, while I have a drink. Travel to the surface. The sun is dangerous to neath dwellers like your crew, but the surface has temptations. Ensure you're well stocked with supplies and fuel, or you may never return. You have to have at least 22 fuel, and that's what it consumes to get there, as well as 8 supplies. So, these are all consumed, 2 supplies. These are all consumed just getting to the surface, and you need to have more because coming back consumes just as much, maybe a little less. So it's quite the climb. Unlocked with menaces, yearning, burning, no more than 199. I don't know what that is, but it might have to do with sunlight, judging by the image. Listen for surface gossip. The ships of the surface linger here. This is their lifeline to a warmer place. Unlocked when something awaits you in ports is stories, so let's compile a port report first. Gather information for a port report. Many ships pass this way, but perhaps you'll pick up something they missed. Business as usual. The gates open and shut. The locks remain free from sabotage. If anything besides London is safe in all the Unterzee, it's here. The surface nations have an interest in keeping the way open. You now have one perfunctory port report, the Cumean Canal. So let's listen for surface gossip. A sorry end. A card game ends badly when one surface sailor knifes another for all the usual reasons. The other players scrabble from the coins that spill from their pockets. But you snatch up a scrap of paper they overlook. Curious markings, dates, times, code names, spies work. You now have 1 moves in the great game. That's all for now. Well, that should prove valuable to us in the future. But since there's no more to do here, we'll wait for our terror to subside, and we'll set off to Z again. We'll sail southerly again. Let's take a look at the map. We've sailed to the north pretty far. Wither was not inviting. What if we hear a jelly floor? That seems too powerful for us at the moment. We don't want to damage our hull any further. We should stick to safer waters. You know that the coast is mostly safe. You shouldn't run into too many monsters, and if you do, you should be able to outrun one and get to a port. But you can't always play it safe. At some point you have to venture out to deep sea, search for hidden treasures, unknown places, more adventure. And it looks like we have a maelstrom coming up. I don't think we want to get too close to that. I never have. But I doubt it has anything good for you. Sizzling vapors rise from the Z. Time slips sideways. A coil of rope has stung a stoker, and his fellows beat it to death. We are under the hand of the Iron Republic. Oh, that doesn't sound good. The air trembles, a breath of change passes. Discovered the Iron Republic and Cuggles Bluff. Well, it appears we've discovered another place, and it comes with its own quite enjoyable music. Oh, what if we run into here? Something I can't see. Oh, there it is again. Some type of... Oh, that doesn't seem good. That seems like we'll die. So, full power to the engines, and away, me hearties. Hope we don't have an explosion. Our temperature's quite high, but we should be back to normal speed. Oh, well, we took 11 damage, but we escaped with our lives. I guess we won't be going to the Iron Republic. Waves slap the side of the ship. Far below, something moves. My timer has gone off, so as we find our next island, before we make port, I think I'll end the episode. Oh, another jelly floor. Let's turn off our light. Little ships throng the waters here. The crew grows wistful. They swap old stories of Sunless Sea. We draw near to the Cumean Canal, the way to the surface. It seems to be after us, so we can turn our light back on at least. Ooh, we've been hit again. We're doing not too bad though. It doesn't seem to want to come for more. Oh, it does. I don't think it will come to this light though. I guess we'll test my theory. And if all else fails, we'll be going full power to engines again. No, it appears we've lost it. Well, at least we've discovered a few things. We hear distant bells, and we discovered Purewell Point and Moody's Light. Moody's Light may have saved us there. We're still doing good on fuel and supplies, so we'll move forward. We could use some port reports, even if it's from places we've already been. What have we here? We want nothing to do with that. If that's what I think it is, it will destroy us, or we will be pushed into a lengthy battle which will consume many supplies and damage our ship for certain. Though with a slightly faster engine we could outrun it almost indefinitely if we're clever. Not something to try when we've been attacked by a dreadnought and a giant jellyfish. We want to keep our crew alive, at least as many as we can. The Z is terrible. Terrible, but terribly fun to play. I love the music. Such an ambience for this whole thing. The writing is quite incredible. Reading it is a real treat, like a good book. It's one of my favorite parts of the game, I think. So we're coming up on a place we've already been. Shepherd's Wash, the salty hinterland of London, home to hermits, nuns, and shadowy business. Was that Mutton Island they're talking of? Well, here's our next port. So, before we read anything at the port, we'll end the episode. Like to thank you for watching, and please leave a comment, like if you did like it, and subscribe. This is FatherofTwo. Have a good one.